everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel. And this is my review for Slither, which came out in 2006. It was written and directed by James Gunn. Prior to this movie, James Gunn had written Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake, but this is his directorial debut, and it's a very impressive one, I gotta say. The movie takes place in a small town in South Carolina, and our main characters are Elizabeth Banks and Michael Rooker, who play a married couple. Michael Rooker goes off, he gets infected with this alien parasite, and then this alien infestation starts growing throughout the town, and especially affecting Michael Rooker and his marriage to Elizabeth Banks. So when it comes to James Gunn, the first movie that really introduced me to him as a director was Guardians of the Galaxy. I know he made Super and this film Slither beforehand, but Guardians was where I really got a taste of what he's capable of. And I did see his live-action Scooby-Doo movie that he wrote, but as an 11-year-old who saw that at the time, I didn't know he wrote that movie. I didn't pay attention to the actual filmmakers unless they were a Steven Spielberg or James Cameron. So I didn't know he wrote Scooby-Doo. And I don't know why that movie is suddenly becoming a favorite among my generation, because it's terrible. But this is not about Scooby-Doo. I'm gonna veer away from that. I'm here to talk about Slither. Being that this is his directorial debut, I was excited to see it. And when it comes to a simple poster like this, some weird red worms or slugs crawling into a bathtub, I'm thinking one thing. I'm just thinking like a bunch of worms eating people. And that's what I expected going into this movie. But when I picked up the Blu-ray from Scream Factory, the poster gave me something radically different. So when watching this movie for the first time, I didn't know what I was expecting. I didn't know what I was getting into with this, and it's a really cool movie at the end of the day, but it certainly was not what I expected. There are worms in the movie that attack people, sure, but they don't kill people, they don't surround them and eat them like the scarab beetles in The Mummy. They instead latch onto your brain through your mouth and basically control you. They basically turn people into zombies. So it's an alien movie, it's a zombie movie, it's a monster movie all rolled into one, and it's a ton of fun. Much like with Tremors, this is a horror comedy, although I'd argue that this is more of a unique balance between the two, because Tremors doesn't necessarily have a lot of gore to it. This one has gore galore. The first kill of the movie is so spectacular, and I'd argue that this is more of a horror movie than Tremors just because it has so many creepy moments to it throughout. Whether it's the Michael Rooker monster that appears, those slugs that infest people, what these people are able to do once they're infected. It has a lot going for it, and I think it all works so well in this one movie. If I had any issues with the movie right off the bat, there are some CGI effects that really do not hold up. There's an entire sequence where we get to see where these creatures come from, and it looks awful. But this movie also didn't cost a whole lot. I think it cost around $15 million, which, you know, 15 million, that's chunk change, I can let it pass. But most of the effects are great, and most of the time when there are CG effects, they're usually blended in with practical effects, and you can't tell the difference. This is one of the few times where CG and practical effects are blended so perfectly and so seamlessly that you can't tell what it is. And the solo practical work is just fantastic, especially the giant Michael Rooker monster at the end. There's a lot of great animatronics and puppet work. It's a really creepy and unsettling creation. The actors also do a good job as well. You have Michael Rooker, who's pretty much been in nearly all of James Gunn's movies. This is actually the first time the two of them worked together, and they've been working together ever since. Elizabeth Banks is really good. Nathan Fillion is also fantastic as the town sheriff. It's a really good cast, and all the actors do a really good job. It's also very short. It doesn't really waste any time getting into the meat of the story. It has a simple setup where we get introduced to Michael Rooker and Elizabeth Banks, but it doesn't take long for the alien parasite to show up, and it is just entertaining from beginning to end. I would say this is worth seeing in your lifetime. It's a ton of fun, it's got some amazing kills, it's funny, it's creative, though I will warn people that there is a lot of animal abuse in this movie, and by that I mean the Michael Rooker monster just kills a bunch of dogs and cats and other animals, which, you know, after seeing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I wouldn't be surprised that James Gunn made a movie that might be a little squeamish for animal lovers. But just putting that out there doesn't really detract from how fun this movie is. And there you go, that's my review for Slither. So this week I ended up reviewing 2 Killer Slug movies. Kind of. Next week, for my final 2 retro reviews this Halloween season, I'll be looking at 2 movies that I originally didn't like at first, but have decided to give them a second chance. The first movie will be Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell. That review will be coming out this coming Monday. I've only seen the movie once, wasn't a fan of it, but I want to give it another chance. But for now, I want to know what you guys think about Slither. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day, and take care of yourselves.